The Galactic Academy floated in the darkness of space like a massive silver crown. Inside its walls, the future leaders and warriors of 1,000 worlds learned to fight, think, and survive. The Academy was not a place for the weak. Here, strength meant everything. Kala Chen walked through the crowded hallway with her bag over her shoulder. She was human, and that made her different. Most students in the Academy stood taller than her. Some had scales that could stop bullets. Others had forearms built for combat. A few could breathe fire or had natural armor covering their bodies. Kayla had none of these things. She was just a girl from Earth, standing at 5 feet and 6 inches tall. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. Her brown eyes watched everything around her carefully. "Look at the tiny human," someone whispered as she passed.
Why did they even accept her species?
Another voice said with a laugh. Kayla ignored them. She had heard worse during her first week at the Academy. Earth was new to the galactic community. Humans had only joined the Empire 20 years ago. Most alien species saw them as weak children who got lucky with technology. The Academy cafeteria was massive. It served food for hundreds of different species. Kayla grabbed a tray with Earth food and found an empty table in the corner. She preferred eating alone. It gave her time to study the other students and learn their weaknesses. Move human. Kayla looked up. A massive figure stood over her table, blocking the light. His name was Vrock, and he was a Chthorian. His species was famous across the galaxy as warriors. Vrock stood nearly 8 feet tall. His skin was thick and gray like stone. Sharp ridges ran along his arms and back. His eyes glowed yellow with natural aggression. "This is my table," Vrock said. His voice was deep and rough. "There are many empty tables," Kayla replied calmly. She did not move. Vrock's eyes narrowed. Other students nearby stopped eating to watch. Confrontations were common at the Academy. The strong took what they wanted. The weak submitted or left. "I do not repeat myself to lesser species," Vrock growled. Kayla looked at him for a long moment. She could feel the eyes of dozens of students on her. This was a test. If she moved, she would be seen as weak forever. But if she stayed, Vrock might escalate. Fighting outside the combat arena meant automatic expulsion for both students. She stood up slowly, picking up her tray. "The table is yours," she said simply. Some students laughed. Others shook their heads. The human had backed down. Just as expected, Vrock smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Smart human," he said. Kayla walked away without looking back. But inside, she was memorizing everything about Vrock. His height, his reach, the way he moved, the confidence that came from never being challenged. She stored it all in her mind like data in a computer. The rest of the day passed slowly. Kayla attended classes on galactic history, alien biology, and combat theory. In every class, she was the smallest student. In every class, she scored among the highest grades. Her instructors noticed, but they said nothing. Intelligence did not matter much at the Academy. Combat ability decided your future. That evening, Kayla went to the training room. It was late, and most students had gone to their quarters. She preferred training alone. The room was filled with equipment from different worlds. There were heavy weights for strong species and agility courses for fast ones. Kayla ignored all of it. She went to an empty corner and began her routine. She moved through forms that humans had practiced for thousands of years. Strike, block, pivot, sweep. Her movements were smooth and precise. Every motion had a purpose. What is the human doing? Kayla stopped and turned. 3 students stood at the doorway watching her. They were all from warrior species. One was Vrock. "Dancing?" one of them said with a laugh. "Humans have no natural weapons," another added. "What good is moving like that?" Vrock stepped forward. His yellow eyes studied Kayla with interest. "Show me, human. Attack me." Kayla shook her head. "I am just training. Not looking for trouble?" "I am not asking," Vrock said. His voice became harder. "I want to see what humans can do. Or are you too afraid?" The other students spread out, blocking the exit. Kayla realized this was not going to end peacefully. Vrock wanted to humiliate her. Maybe hurt her? He had already decided she was prey. "I do not want to fight you," Kayla said clearly. "Then you are weak," Vrock replied. "Tomorrow in combat class, I will request you as my sparring partner. The instructors will allow it. And in the arena, there are no rules against hurting weak opponents." He turned and walked away. His friends followed, laughing among themselves. Kayla stood alone in the training room. Her heart was beating fast, but her face remained calm. She had hoped to avoid this. At the academy, combat class was mandatory. Students sparred against each other to prove their skills. Instructors rarely stopped fights unless someone was about to die. Tomorrow, Vrock would attack her in front of everyone. He would try to break bones, maybe worse. He wanted to make an example of the weak human. Kayla took a deep breath and returned to her training. She moved through her forms again, but this time with more focus. Strike, block, pivot, sweep. Each movement was calculated for maximum damage. Each technique was designed to stop a larger, stronger opponent. Humans did not have claws, or armor, or venom. But they had something else. Something that Vrock and his kind had never faced before. Precision and tomorrow. He would learn what that meant. He attacked her at school. She responded with deadly precision. Part 2. The combat arena was the largest room in the Galactic Academy. Its floor was made of reinforced metal that could survive almost any attack. The walls were lined with energy shields to protect watching students. High above, instructors sat in observation boxes, monitoring every fight. Today, the arena was packed. Word had spread quickly. Vrock had challenged the human girl. Everyone wanted to watch. Kayla stood in the preparation area, wrapping her hands with protective cloth. She wore the Academy's standard combat uniform, a flexible suit that offered minimal protection. It was designed to test a fighter's skill, not shield them from damage. "Kayla Chen," a voice called over the speaker system. "Report to Arena 3. She walked through the corridor toward the fighting area. Other students watched her pass. Some looked curious. Others looked sorry for her. A few were already placing bets on how quickly Vrock would win. The arena floor was bright under harsh lights. On the opposite side, Vrock waited. He was stretching his massive arms, making his muscles bulge. His gray skin looked even thicker under the lights. He wore no hand wraps. His species did not need them. Instructor Thraz stood between them. He was a Velcorian, a species known for fairness and honor. His 4 eyes looked at both fighters. "This is a sanctioned sparring match," Thraz announced. His voice echoed through the arena. "Combat continues until one fighter submits, is knocked unconscious, or I stop the fight. Lethal techniques are forbidden. Do you both understand?" "Yes, instructor," Kayla said. "Yes," Vrock said, smiling. Thraz studied them both for a moment longer. Then he stepped back. "Begin." Vrock moved immediately. He rushed forward with surprising speed for his size. His fist came down like a hammer toward Kayla's head. It was a simple attack, designed to use pure strength. Kayla slid to the side. The fist crashed into the floor where she had been standing. The metal surface dented from the impact. Students in the crowd gasped. "Stand still, human!" Vrock roared. He swung again, this time with his other hand. Kayla ducked under the swing and backed away. She was studying him, watching how he moved. Looking for patterns, Vrock charged again. This time, he used both arms, trying to grab her. If he caught her, the fight would be over. His strength would crush her. Kayla waited until the last moment, then dropped low and rolled to the side. Vrock stumbled past her, off balance. The crowd murmured. The human was faster than they expected. "Stop running," Vrock shouted. Anger filled his voice. He had expected an easy victory. Instead, he could not even touch her. He rushed at her again, but this time with less control. His movements were becoming sloppy. Frustration was taking over. Kayla blocked his punch with her forearm, redirecting it away from her body. The impact hurt, but she had angled it to minimize damage. Then she struck back, hitting Vrock's ribs with a quick jab. The blow had no visible effect. His thick skin absorbed it easily. Vrock laughed. Is that all humans can do? Tickle. He grabbed at her with both hands. This time, he caught her arm. His grip was like iron. He pulled her close, lifting her off the ground. I am going to break every bone in your body, he whispered. Slowly. This was against the rules. Instructor Thraz should have stopped it, but he stood watching, waiting to see how the human would respond. Vrock raised his fist. He was not aiming for a quick knockout. He was aiming for her ribs, to crack them. To make her suffer, the fist came down. Kayla twisted in his grip, using his own strength against him. Her free hand shot up, palm open, and struck Vrock directly in the throat. It was not a hard hit. It did not need to be. She targeted the soft spot between his armored ridges, where his breathing passage was vulnerable. Vrock's eyes went wide. He dropped her instantly, grabbing his own throat. He stumbled backward, gasping. Kayla landed on her feet. She did not wait. She moved forward while he was stunned. Her leg swept low, hooking behind his knee. At the same moment, she pushed his chest. The combination of low and high force made Vrock's massive body topple backward. He hit the ground hard. The entire arena shook. But Vrock was a warrior. He rolled immediately and started to rise. Rage filled his eyes. He had been hurt, embarrassed. Now he wanted blood. I will kill you. He roared. He charged without thinking. His attack was pure fury, no technique. His fist swung wild and dangerous. Kayla saw her opening. She stepped inside his reach, too close for his long arms to hit effectively. Her elbow struck upward, catching him under the jaw. Her knee followed, driving into his midsection. Then she spun, using her momentum to deliver a strike to the nerve cluster on the side of his neck. Each hit was precise. Each hit targeted a weakness. Vrock staggered. His movements became slow, uncoordinated. His brain was struggling to process the pain signals from multiple nerve centers. He swung one more time, desperately. Kayla caught his arm, twisted it, and used his momentum to flip him over her hip. He crashed to the ground again. This time, she did not let him recover. She moved like water, flowing from one technique to the next. Strike lock, pressure point. Each movement was calculated. Each was designed to shut down his body's systems without killing him. Vrock tried to fight back, but his body was no longer responding correctly. His size and strength meant nothing. His natural armor could not protect his joints or nerves. Kayla ended it with a final strike to a pressure point on his shoulder. Vrock's arm went completely numb. He tried to stand, but his legs would not support him. He collapsed face first onto the arena floor. The arena was completely silent. Instructor Thraz stepped forward quickly. He checked Vrock's vital signs. The Chthorian was alive, but unconscious. His body had shut down from systematic nerve trauma. Thraz looked at Kayla. His 4 eyes showed something she had not seen from him before. Respect, Genechen, he announced. The silence broke. Students began talking all at once. Some were shocked. Others were frightened. The human had defeated a warrior caste Chthorian with techniques they had never seen before. Medical teams rushed into the arena to help Vrock. Kayla stood alone in the center, breathing hard. Her hands were shaking slightly from adrenaline, but her face remained calm. She had not wanted this fight, but Vrock had given her no choice. Now, everyone in the academy knew the truth. Humans might be small. They might not have natural weapons. But they had something far more dangerous. They had precision. And they knew exactly where to use it. He attacked her at school. She responded with deadly precision. Part 3. Human precision. The medical bay was busy with activity. Doctors and medics from different species worked around Vrock's unconscious body. Scanners beeped. Machines hummed. But despite all their technology, the medical team looked confused. His nervous system is shutting down in stages. one doctor said, studying a holographic display. But there are no broken bones, no internal bleeding, no torn muscles. How is that possible? Another medic asked. We saw the fight. The humans struck him multiple times. The head physician, a Thoraxian with 6 arms, examined the scan more closely. The strikes targeted specific nerve clusters. Look here, here, and here. Each impact caused a cascade reaction in his nervous system. It is like his body was systematically turned off. That requires precise knowledge of Chthorian anatomy, the first doctor said. How could a human know that? In another part of the academy, Kayla sat in a small room. 2 security officers stood by the door. They had brought her here immediately after the fight. She was not under arrest, but she was not free to leave either. The door opened. Instructor Thraz entered, along with Commander Vex, the head of Academy Security. Commander Vex was a Zythonian, a species that looked like walking insects with hard exoskeletons and compound eyes. Kayla Chen, Commander Vex said, his voice clicking like stones hitting together. You put a warrior caste Chthorian in the medical bay? That is a serious incident. He attacked me first, Kayla said calmly. I defended myself. We watched the fight, Instructor Thras said. He activated a holographic projector. The entire match played in the air between them. Your techniques are unlike anything we have seen before. You targeted specific points on Vrok's body with surgical precision. Yes, Kayla said simply. Commander Vex leaned forward. Where did you learn to fight like that? Earth, Kayla replied. Human combat training, explained Commander Vex demanded. Kayla took a breath. She had known this conversation would come eventually. Humans evolved differently than most galactic species. We have no natural weapons. No claws, no venom, no thick armor. We are physically weaker than most warrior races. That much is obvious, Commander Vex said. So how did your species survive? We adapted, Kayla said. We learned to fight smart instead of hard. For thousands of years, humans studied combat. We learned about anatomy, about nerve systems, about balance and leverage. We developed martial arts that use precision instead of strength. Instructor Thraz nodded slowly. You targeted Vrok's weaknesses. His throat, his nerve clusters, his joints. Every species has weaknesses, Kayla said. Chthorians have thick skin and strong muscles, but their nerve pathways are close to the surface in certain areas. If you know where to strike, their size becomes a disadvantage. Commander Vex made a clicking sound, which was how his species showed surprise. You studied Chthorian anatomy before the fight? I studied the anatomy of every major species at this academy, Kayla said. It is part of human military training. Know your enemy. Know their strengths and their weaknesses. The room was quiet for a moment. Both officers were processing this information. The concept was foreign to them. Most galactic species relied on their natural advantages in combat. The idea of studying opponents so thoroughly was unusual. This is troubling, Commander Vex said finally. If one human can defeat a Chthorian warrior, what does that mean for galactic security? It means humans are more capable than you thought, Kayla said. There was no pride in her voice. Just fact. Instructor Thraz played another part of the recording. It showed Kella's final combination of moves, the sequence that had ended the fight. I have trained warriors for 30 years. I have never seen such efficiency. Every movement had a purpose. No wasted energy. It was like watching a surgeon work. That is exactly what it was, Kayla said. Humans approach combat like a science. We calculate angles, measure force, predict reactions. We have phrases for it. Maximum damage with minimum effort. Use the opponent's strength against them. Strike where they are weakest. This is not how warriors fight, Commander Vex said. There is no honor in such tactics. Honor does not matter if you are dead, Kayla replied. Humans learned that lesson long ago. We fight to survive and win. The method does not matter. Another knock came at the door. A young officer entered and whispered something to Commander Vex. The commander's compound eyes seemed to glow brighter. Seems word of your fight has spread, Commander, Vex said to Kayla. Galactic Military Intelligence is requesting copies of the arena footage. They want to study human combat techniques. Kayla was not surprised. She had expected this. Instructor Thraz deactivated the hologram. Vrock broke the rules. He tried to seriously injure you. His actions were against Academy protocol. You will not be punished. What about him? Kayla asked. He will face a disciplinary tribunal when he wakes up, Commander Vex said. Attempted serious harm to another student is grounds for expulsion. I do not want him expelled, Kayla said quietly. Both officers stared at her. Why not? Instructor Thraz asked. He learned a lesson today, Kayla said. A painful one, but an important one. Sometimes that is worth more than punishment. Commander Vex studied her for a long moment. You are unusual, human. Most beings who defeat an enemy want to see them suffer more. That is not the human way, Kayla said. At least not for everyone. We believe in second chances. Growth. Vrock will be a better warrior after this. He will think before attacking. He will respect opponents he does not understand. Instructor Thraz nodded slowly. You are wise beyond your years, Kayla Chen. Perhaps your species has more to teach the galaxy than just combat. Perhaps Kayla agreed. They released her after another hour of questions. By the time Kayla walked back through the academy corridors, everything had changed. Students who had ignored her before now watched her with careful eyes. Some moved out of her way. Others nodded with respect. In the cafeteria, Kayla found the corner table. The same one Vrock had taken from her yesterday. This time, no one told her to move. No one even came close. She sat down and began eating. Her body was tired. Her muscles ached from the fight. But her mind was alert. A shadow fell over her table. Kayla looked up, ready to defend herself. But it was not a threat. 3 students stood there, from 3 different species. They looked nervous. Can we sit with you? One asked. It was a Valkorian, similar species to Instructor Thraz. Kayla gestured to the empty seats. Yes, they sat down carefully, as if afraid of making sudden moves. Finally, the Valkorian spoke again. We watched your fight. We have never seen techniques like that. Would you? Could you teach us? Kayla looked at them. These were not warriors trying to challenge her. They were students wanting to learn. Wanting to understand, maybe she said. But first, you need to understand something. Human combat is not about being strong. It is about being smart. It is about seeing what others miss. Are you ready to learn that way? All 3 nodded eagerly. Kayla smiled slightly. This was not how she had expected her time at the academy to go. But perhaps it was better. Perhaps humans had more to offer the galaxy than anyone realized. Precision was not just about fighting. It was about teaching, about changing minds, about showing a different path. And Kayla was ready to walk that path. One step at a time. Hashi attacked her at school. She responded with deadly precision. ##. Part 4. The investigation. The tribunal chamber was a circular room with high ceilings. Seats lined the walls where observers could watch the proceedings. In the center, 3 judges sat behind a raised platform. They were chosen from different species to ensure fairness. Kayla stood in the middle of the chamber floor. She wore a formal academy uniform. Her hands were clasped behind her back. She looked calm, but her heart was beating fast. The lead judge was a Kelvorian named High Arbiter Zin. Her species was known for wisdom and impartial judgment. Her silver skin seemed to glow under the chamber lights. This tribunal has been called to investigate the incident between Cadet Kayla Chen of Earth and Cadet Vrock of Crathoria, High Arbiter Zin announced. We have reviewed the arena footage and medical reports. Now, we will hear testimony. On one side of the chamber, Vrock sat with his family representative. He had recovered from his injuries, but he looked different. His usual confidence was gone. He would not meet Kayla's eyes. Cadet Vrock, High Arbiter Zin said, Tell us what happened. Vrock stood slowly. His voice was quieter than before. I challenged the human to a sparring match. It was within Academy rules. But during the fight, she used illegal techniques. Illegal how? One of the other judges asked. She attacked my nervous system directly, Vrock said. She used knowledge of my species' biology to cause maximum pain without killing. That is torture, not combat. Murmurs filled the observation seats. Several warrior species nodded in agreement. Combat should be straightforward, honorable. What the human did seemed wrong. Cadet Chen, High Arbiter, Zin said. How do you respond? Kayla stepped forward. I used precise strikes to end the fight quickly. Every technique I used is standard human combat training. I did not torture anyone. I defended myself against an opponent who was trying to seriously hurt me. Show us High Arbiter Zin commanded. The chamber lights dimmed. A massive holographic display activated, showing the entire fight from multiple angles. Everyone watched in silence. The recording showed clearly what happened. Vrock's initial attacks were meant to intimidate, but when Kayla avoided them, his strikes became more vicious. The moment when he grabbed her and threatened to break her bones was captured in perfect detail. Then came Kayla's response. The hologram slowed down, showing each strike frame by frame. Every movement was deliberate. Every hit targeted a specific nerve cluster or pressure point. There was no random violence. No unnecessary force. Just pure, calculated efficiency. When the recording ended, the chamber was silent. The footage shows that Cadet Vrock escalated beyond sparring protocol, one judge noted. He attempted to cause serious injury. But Cadet Chen's techniques are disturbing, another judge said. She has knowledge that could be used to harm any species in the academy. How do we know she is not a threat? Before Kayla could answer, the chamber doors opened. 3 officers in military uniforms entered. They wore the insignia of Galactic Defense Intelligence. Everyone stood immediately out of respect. The lead officer was a tall humanoid with blue skin and 4 eyes. His name was Strategist Morvix, and he was famous throughout the Empire for military planning. High Arbiter, Strategist Morvix said. We request permission to address the tribunal. High Arbiter Zin looked surprised, but nodded. Permission granted. Strategist Morvex moved to the center of the chamber. My team has spent the last 3 days analyzing the combat footage. We have also reviewed Earth military training protocols and human history. What we found is remarkable. He activated his own holographic display. Images of Earth appeared, showing human history. Ancient warriors practicing martial arts. Modern soldiers training in hand-to-hand combat. Medical diagrams showing human understanding of anatomy. Humans evolved on a death world, Strategist Morvex explained. A planet filled with predators larger and stronger than them. They survived not through natural weapons, but through intelligence and adaptability. They studied every creature they hunted or that hunted them. They learned biology, anatomy, behavior patterns. More images appeared, showing human weapons and tools. When they developed technology, they applied the same principles: precision, efficiency, understanding the enemy better than the enemy understands themselves. What is your point, strategist? High Arbiter, Zin asked. My point is that Cadet Chen's actions were not unusual for a human. They were standard. Every human who joins the galactic military receives similar training. They are taught to identify weaknesses in any opponent, biological or mechanical. This is their strength. The judges looked at each other. This information changed everything. Are you saying all humans can fight like this? One judge asked, sounding worried. Not all, Strategist Morvex admitted. But many. Their military trains them from a young age. By the time they reach adulthood, they can assess and neutralize threats from species far stronger than themselves. He turned to face Kayla. Cadet Chen represents what humans are capable of when they combine their natural intelligence. With systematic training, she is not a threat. She is an example of human potential. Vrock's representative stood up. This is exactly why we should be concerned. If humans can defeat our warriors so easily, they could be planning to take over the Empire. Strategist Morvex shook his head. Our analysis shows no such intention. Humans value cooperation and alliances. They understand that strength comes from working together. Yes, they can fight with deadly precision when necessary. But they prefer to build bridges rather than burn them. He looked directly at the judges. What happened in that arena was not an attack. It was a lesson. Cadet Vrock learned that size and strength alone do not guarantee victory. He learned to respect opponents he does not understand. That is a valuable lesson for any warrior. High Arbiter, Zin studied strategist Morvex carefully. You speak as if you want humans integrated into our military. I do, strategist Morvex said bluntly. Humans bring skills we lack. They see patterns we miss. They solve problems in ways we never consider. The Galactic Empire would be stronger with more humans in our ranks. The tribunal judges talked quietly among themselves for several minutes. Finally, High Arbiter Zin spoke. This tribunal finds that Cadet Vrock violated Academy protocol by attempting to cause a serious injury outside of legitimate combat. He is hereby suspended from the Academy for 1 full cycle and must complete additional training on proper conduct. Rock's head dropped. His family representative tried to protest, but High Arbiter Zin raised her hand for silence. As for Cadet Chen, this tribunal finds no wrongdoing. She defended herself using techniques appropriate to the threat level. However, we require that she submit her training methods to the Academy Curriculum Committee. If human combat techniques are this effective, all cadets should have the opportunity to learn them. Kayla nodded. Yes, High Arbiter. Additionally, High Arbiter Zin continued, the Academy will begin recruiting more human instructors. It is clear that your species has much to teach us. Strategist Morvex smiled. If I may, High Arbiter, I would like to offer Cadet Chen a position in our advanced training program after she graduates. We need people with her skills and mindset. That decision is hers to make, High Arbiter, Zin said. She looked at Kayla. Do you accept? Kayla thought for a moment. This was a huge opportunity. To work directly with galactic military intelligence, to represent humanity on a larger stage, I accept, she said. But only if I can continue teaching here part-time. The next generation of students should learn what I know. High Arbiter Zin's expression showed approval. Agreed. This tribunal is adjourned. As everyone left the chamber, Vrock approached Kayla. He moved slowly, carefully. When he spoke, his voice was humble. I underestimated you, he said. That was foolish. I am sorry. Kayla looked at him. She saw genuine regret in his eyes. You learned. That is what matters. Will you teach me? Vrock asked. Your human techniques? Kayla smiled slightly. Maybe if you are willing to learn that strength is not just about muscles. Are you? Vrock nodded. I am. Kayla extended her hand. After a moment, Vrock took it. They shook a human gesture of respect and new beginnings. The investigation was over. But for Kayla, and for humanity, a new chapter was just beginning. He attacked her at school. She responded with deadly precision. Part 5. A new reputation. 3 months had passed since the fight. The Galactic Academy looked the same from the outside, but inside, everything had changed. Kayla walked through the corridors with a datapad in her hand. She was reviewing lesson plans for her next class. Students passing by nodded respectfully. Some stopped to ask quick questions about technique or strategy. She'd become something she never expected to be at the academy. A teacher. The training hall that was once empty when she practiced alone was now full of students. Cadets from dozens of species gathered. 3 times a week for her special class, Human Combat Theory. The academy had made it an optional course, but enrollment was at maximum capacity. There was a waiting list. Today's class focused on situational awareness. Kayla stood at the front of the training hall, looking at the 40 students seated before her. They were all sizes and species. Some could break steel with their bare hands. Others had natural weapons that could cut through armor. But they all sat quietly, ready to learn. Combat is not about who is strongest, Kayla began. This was how she started every class. It is about who understands the situation better. Today, we will practice reading environments and opponents. She divided the class into pairs. Each pair had to observe the other and identify 3 potential weaknesses. Not physical weaknesses, but tactical ones. Body language that revealed nervousness. Habits that made movements predictable. Blind spots in their visual awareness. A young Valkorian named Trix raised his hand. Instructor Chen, how did humans learn all this? Most species rely on instinct. Humans had to evolve beyond instinct to survive, Kayla explained. We were not the biggest or fastest predators on Earth, but we learned to think ahead, to plan, to observe. Those skills kept us alive long enough to develop technology. She walked between the training pairs, watching them work. Some students were natural observers. Others struggled to see beyond the obvious, but all of them were trying. That was what mattered. In the corner of the hall, she noticed Vrock. He had returned to the academy after his suspension. He was paired with a smaller species, a Pixarian who stood only 3 feet tall. Vrock was carefully watching his partner's movements, taking notes on his datapad. The old Vrock would never have been so patient. After class, several students stayed behind to ask questions. This happened every session. They wanted to know more about Earth combat styles, about human military history, about the philosophy behind precision fighting. Is it true that humans fought wars against each other for thousands of years? A student asked. Yes, Kayla said honestly. Humans have a violent history. We fought over land, resources, beliefs. But through all that conflict, we developed strategies and techniques. When we finally reached the stars, we brought all that knowledge with us. Does that not make your species dangerous? Another student asked nervously. Kayla shook her head. Every species is dangerous in its own way. What matters is how we choose to use our capabilities. Humans learned that peace is stronger than war. Cooperation is better than conquest. But we also learned that sometimes you must be able to fight to protect what matters. The students nodded, processing this information. They were beginning to understand that strength came in many forms. Later that evening, Kayla received a message on her datapad. It was from strategist Morvex. He wanted to meet at the Academy's command center. Kayla made her way through the corridors, wondering what this was about. The command center was restricted to senior staff and military personnel. 2 guards checked her identification before allowing her inside. The room was filled with holographic displays showing star maps, fleet positions, and intelligence reports. Strategist Morvex stood in the center, studying a tactical display. When he saw Kayla, he gestured for her to approach. Cadet Chen, he said, I have news. Earth's command has approved a new program. They are sending 20 additional human instructors to various galactic military academies. You will help train them before they deploy. Kayla felt pride swell in her chest. 20 instructors. That is a significant commitment. Earth takes its alliance with the Empire seriously, strategist Morvex said. But there is more. The Galactic Council has requested human advisors for several ongoing conflicts. They want your species' tactical insights. He pulled up a star map showing trouble spots across the Empire. Border disputes, pirate activity, rebellions on frontier worlds. Humans are good at solving problems others cannot. Strategist Morvex continued. You see patterns? You find weaknesses in enemy strategies. The Council believes human involvement could save lives and end conflicts faster. What kind of involvement? Kayla asked carefully. Advisory roles mostly. Tactical planning. Intelligence analysis. Some humans may serve in combat units, but only if they volunteer. Earth Command is very clear about that. Kayla studied the star map. She thought about what this meant. Humans were being recognized not just as another member species, but as valuable contributors to galactic security. That was progress. There is one more thing, strategist Morvex said. He seemed hesitant, which was unusual for him. The Council wants to establish a specialized unit. Operatives trained in human combat methods who can handle situations requiring precision over force. They want you to help select and train the first team. This was bigger than Kayla had imagined. A special unit based on human techniques. It would change how the galaxy approached certain problems. When do we start? She asked. Strategist Morvex smiled. Next cycle. But first, finish your current term here. These students need you. Kayla returned to her quarters that night with much to think about. She sat by the window, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home world. She wondered if people there understood what was happening, how humanity was slowly changing the galactic empire from within. A chime at her door interrupted her thoughts. Enter, she called. The door opened. Vrock stood there, looking uncertain. Instructor Chen, do you have a moment? Of course, Kayla said, gesturing to a chair. What is on your mind? Vrock sat down carefully. He was still adjusting to his new humble attitude. I wanted to thank you for what you said at the tribunal. For not wanting me expelled, you learned from your mistake, Kayla said. That is worth more than punishment. I have been thinking about that fight, Vrock said slowly. I realize now that I never saw you as a real opponent. I saw you as weak because you are small, because you are human. I was blind. Many beings make that mistake, Kayla said gently. Appearances can be deceiving. I want to learn more, Vrock said. Not just your combat techniques. I want to understand how humans think, how you see the world differently. Will you teach me? Kayla smiled. This was why she had become a teacher. To change minds. To build bridges between species. To show that differences could be strengths rather than weaknesses. Yes, she said. I will teach you. Over the following weeks, more changes came to the academy. The curriculum committee officially added human combat courses to the standard training. New equipment arrived that humans had designed for precision training. Guest instructors from Earth began arriving, each bringing their own expertise. The cafeteria where Vrock had once intimidated Kayla became a gathering place for students from all species. They sat together, sharing food and stories, learning about each other's cultures and combat traditions. The divisions that once separated them were breaking down. One morning, Kayla received a communication from Earth. It was from her old instructor, Master Sergeant Rodriguez. His weathered face appeared on the holographic display. Cadet Chen, he said, using her old rank out of habit. I have been hearing stories about you. Taking down Chthorians. Teaching aliens our techniques. Making us look good out there. Just doing my duty, Sergeant, Kayla said with a smile. You are doing more than that, Rodriguez said seriously. You are showing the galaxy what humans can be. Not conquerors or warriors, but teachers, partners. That matters more than any fight you could win. His words stayed with Kayla long after the call ended. She realized that her fight with Vrock had been just the beginning. The real battle was not in the arena. It was in changing perceptions, in proving that strength came in many forms, in showing that precision and intelligence could match raw power. 3 months after that first fight, the academy held a graduation ceremony. Kayla was not graduating yet, but many of her students were. She watched them receive their assignments to various military units across the empire. Some would serve on ships. Others would guard frontier stations. A few would join special operations teams. As they walked across the stage, Kayla saw how they had changed. They stood differently now, moved with more awareness, thought before acting. They had learned lessons that would serve them for the rest of their lives. After the ceremony, strategist Morvex found Kayla in the crowd. Impressive, he said, watching the new graduates. They fight differently now. They think differently. That was the goal, Kayla said. Earth Command sent me a message, strategist Morvex continued. More human cadets are being sent to the academy next cycle. 50 of them. They want you to be their primary liaison officer. Kayla nodded. 50 new human students. Each one would need guidance. Each one would represent humanity to their alien classmates. It was a big responsibility. There is something else, strategist Morvex said. The Galactic Council is considering establishing a human studies program. They want to understand your species better. Your history, culture, methods. They believe humans have knowledge that could benefit the entire empire. Kayla thought about that. Humans had only been part of the galactic community for 2 decades. Most species still saw them as newcomers, weak, unimportant. But slowly, that was changing. One fight, one class, one student at a time. Tell the council I will help however I can, Kayla said. That night, she stood again by her window, looking at the stars. The galaxy seemed different now, full of possibility instead of challenge. Humans had proven they belonged here, not through conquest or intimidation, but through skill, intelligence, and the willingness to share what they knew. Her datapad chimed with a new message. It was from Vrock. He had been assigned to a border patrol unit and wanted her to know that he would continue practicing what she taught him. He promised to represent both his species and the lessons he learned from humanity with honor. Kayla smiled and sent a quick reply, wishing him success. Then she opened her files and began preparing for next cycle's classes. 50 new human students meant new challenges, new opportunities, new chances to show the galaxy what precision and dedication could accomplish. She had come to the academy expecting to learn. Instead, she had become a teacher. She had come expecting to be underestimated. Instead, she had earned respect. She had come alone. But now, she was building a community. The fight with Vrock had lasted only minutes, but its impact would echo through the galaxy for years to come. Humans were no longer just another species in the Empire. They were partners, teachers, examples of what intelligence and precision could achieve. And Kayla Chen, small human girl who defeated a warrior with deadly precision, had helped make that possible.